Hi, I'm Louis Jones. I'm an application specialist with Mimaki USA. I'm going to be running through some tips and tricks on how to get a design file ready to cut on one of our CG cutters using Illustrator and Final Cut. I'll be cutting on the CG130FX Plus. The speed of this roll-based cutting plotter makes it a perfect pair with our printers. The typical workflow for this machine is printing an image from a design file on a printer, then taking that media to the cutter, then load the same design file with cut lines into Final Cut, and letting the machine know the sections that you want to cut out of the media. You can then step and repeat this process for however many copies you have on the roll of media. The first thing I like to keep in mind when creating my art files is the size of the artwork relative to the pinch rollers and the media that I'll be working with. Whatever crop marks you have printed need to fit between the outer pinch rollers on the cutter, or else you're going to get an error message when you execute. So measure out your media, adjust the crop marks, and make that the size of your artboard in your design software. For example, the width of the media I'll be working with is 54 inches. So, adjusting for the pinch rollers, I'll make the artboard of my design file at most 46 inches wide. Your crop marks need to be printed with your artwork, so set up your cut lines at the same time. It saves you time and it makes it easier to check that you have no repeating lines or any objects with the same spot color as your cut lines. Create an object in Illustrator, and with that object selected, use rasterling tools to transform it into a cut line.
I love you.
Once you have your art file ready and your media loaded into the CG cutter, open Final Cut and make sure you selected the appropriate model. Then it's time to make your crop marks. I make sure all my cut lines are on a separate layer. This limits the amount of chances the vector art or clipping mask interfere with my cut lines. On the separate layer, create a box with no fill or stroke color. With this blank box selected, I open up Final Cut Tools for Illustrator and open the Register Mark Creation section. If you're working on clear, translucent, or hard to read material, this is the time to use the Fill Around Registration Marks button to make the marks more visible. Check the connection between your printer and the plotter. In Final Cut, under Communication, test your communication port. If you don't receive a message saying correct, try unplugging and replugging the cables you're using to connect your computer to the plotter. And make sure the plotter is in remote. Once Final Cut is open, go to the Layout tab. If you place your media in backwards and you haven't used ID Cut, use the green arrow key to turn the artwork accordingly. Final Cut mimics the layers that you had set up in your design file, so make sure any layer with artwork is turned off. Only cut lines and crop marks should be visible in the preview window. Once that's done, I go to the Register Mark tab and I select Plot at the top. When the Plot Cut window pops up, I always use the Preview button to play a video of the path the cutter will take. This preview should show any repeats or double cuts that I have in my design file. Then I'm ready to cut. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative, and feel free to come to Mimaki with any questions you may have on the subject.
Welcome to another episode of Mimaki Live. Thanks for joining us today. I am really excited that you're here with us. I hope that today is a special one for everybody because we're really excited about what's going on today. So before we jump into everything, I'll let my counterpart here kind of bring you into what's going on. Today's episode is all about vehicle and decorating, and vehicles could be cars, could be things with wheels on it, basically.
Right.
Basically
any
anything.
surface that you ride on, we can decorate it.
There you go. So,
and decorate applications for it.
Right. So we want to just recap a couple of things. We spent the last 3 episodes kind of going through the different markets that we serve. So sign and graphics, our industrial products,
textiles
and apparels, our 3D. But today we wanted to focus in on all of those things combined to a specific end result, which is decorating vehicles. So we hope that today you find the information informative, educational, and entertaining as always. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that this is a live event. We're going to do our best to make sure that we get everything out, and we also will have an opportunity for you to interact with us at the end. So Mimaki has been in the printing game for a long time. For those of you that have joined us, the other 3, I won't get too deep into the details, but we're a 45-year-old manufacturing facility based out of Japan, Nagano, Japan. We manufacture printing and cutting devices for the signage, textile, industrial printing, and 3D space. We have a large portfolio of products, and we can really get a lot of really good things out of our equipment. So today we want to show you how some of that equipment interfaces with the vehicles, and we want to really kind of give you an idea of what you can do. So as you're looking through the website, which I'm sure you're going to go to at some point, and as you follow us on social and everything else, if you have an interest in one of our products, don't forget that we have showrooms all throughout the North American market. So we have showrooms in the Atlanta market, in New Jersey. We have a showroom in the Toronto market, up in Milwaukee, Los Angeles, and in Dallas, Texas. So if you have any interest and you want to come and try out an application, or you just want to talk to one of our team, check out one of those offices, connect with our teams. We've got sales reps, and we've also got technical support and application specialists at each location that can help you out with any questions you might have. So we really want to show you today what you can do with vehicles. So for that, I want to kind of turn the mic over to my counterpart here, Lewis, here, to talk about a little bit about today's topic.
Yeah, like I said, I'm Lewis Jones. I'm application specialist here at Atlanta, our corporate office. We have a lot to cover today because we're focusing on, like Mike said, the entire range of the Mimaki products to one service, applying different designs to your car. A lot of people, when they think about car design, they think it's just wrapping the outside. Our hope today is when you leave here, you have a more examples of different things that you can design with our printers for your car, not just the outside, but the interiors, textiles with the machine, with seats, wrapping the interior, dashboards, mirrors, things that aren't just cars, actual objects that can be put into the car, 3D objects. Really, any market that we brought up in the previous episodes can be applied to car design. So we look forward to sharing those with you today.
Yeah, and furthering along that, we've got a couple of really special guests on, so it won't just be the two of us bantering back and forth. We've taken a lot of the experience in the past 3 episodes, and we've also listened to you, our audience. So we've got some really great interviews coming up. We've got Justin Pate from the Rap Institute will be joining us a little while later to talk about rapping in general. He's one of the most important figures in the rapping game, and we'll be able to share some of his insight with you. So stick around for that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, as always, you can join us for a live Q&A after with ourselves and with Justin. So load that chat window up, follow, subscribe, go to our website, check everything out, and then as you come up with some different ideas and some questions you might want to ask, throw them in the chat window, and we'll get to them when we get to the end of our broadcast. So there's a lot of questions that come up when it comes to wrapping and vehicle decoration, and I think one of the things that is kind of well known in the professional market, right? The professional installers and everything is that Mimaki's got a solution for everything. So kind of we're letting the secret out of the bag a little bit here that we're in a lot of different places, and a lot of things that you see when you go out and interact with vehicles or accessories, you probably don't realize that they're printed on or cut with a Mimaki device. But we have a wide portfolio of things, from our solvent printers, UV, 3D, the textile printers, and that's kind of where things start to get a little crazy for our customers because we have so many different things.
Right. And you're a little bit more familiar with the inks than I am, and the different inks that work with our different machines, because we have such a wide range of inks and machines and ink combinations. It can be a little daunting for new businesses to figure out which applications fit for which machine and which inks you should be using. Other than the resource tab on our website, where you can choose what application and figure out what you should be using that way, what are some tips that you found when trying to pick out what setup you should be using for your business?
Yeah, great question. So we get that question quite a bit, actually. You come in and you could do a wrap with a UV curable machine or a solvent machine, for example. You could do an upholstered seat with a UV printed leather, or a textile printed with a textile link. You can create elements with a 3D printer and then produce on them with the UV. So there's so many different ways you can approach the same problem. When it comes down to the ink technology, we manufacture all the ink in-house, and it works within our products. And we have some idea of what we want the product to do when we develop and engineer it. But when it comes down to the ink discussion, it really comes down to kind of a 80-20 rule. And we look at it, what's 80% of what you're going to be doing with your business? And then what's the other 20% you'd like to try? And we try to answer that 80% first. And that usually leads us to a solution, whether it's solvent, UV curable, textile, whatever we have. The selector tool on our website is a variation of that, right? We try to help you choose the right solution for your need. It's going to come down to whether or not you are a fully dedicated wrap shop, or if you're an accessory printer, like if you're printing valve stem covers or something like that. It's going to come down to whether or not you're creating something new that you're going to be able to print to that might be dimensional, in which case you might want to look at a UV printer, but then you could print decals and stick them on objects as well. So it really comes down to that. And it also comes down to, outdoor expectation. Solvent ink, if you're looking at that specifically, has the longest outdoor capability of all the inks on the market. UV curable is a close second to that, and it has a lot of really neat characteristics as well. So really, it's going to come down to an exploratory conversation. There's really no wrong way to approach it, but there is definitely a trade-off with some inks. Like, for example, solvent's going to give you a longer outdoor durability, but the trade-off is that it takes a little bit longer to get to, like, a lamination process or getting it onto that vehicle, where UV curable gets you there much quicker, but then there's a trade-off in terms of whether or not you can stretch it that extra couple of inches, or whether or not you're going to be able to get it to look exactly the way you want it. Like, for example, if you want a really gloss finish, you would have to switch to a glossier laminate to, hide the characteristics of the ink. So little things there. There's definitely a lot of information out there. There's a lot of great resources and tools on our website that help you make that decision. But it's going to come down to your end expectation, and testing with us is a big part of that.
Yeah, I was going to say our print specialists on a daily basis get different materials from companies to test, not just like the different variations, because you said there are several, depending on what you're doing. One application, there could be several ways to address it.
Right.
But it's about finding that particular way that's going to save you the most money, the cost of like inks with cost of applications. So we have wide range of print specialists in all of our different offices who are ready to help work with different companies to figure out what's the best system for them.
Yeah,
Correct?
and you guys have been putting some fantastic videos showing workflow
Right.
and actual application techniques to help customers make it to, and it's all about an informed decision, right? It's about making sure that the customer knows that, yes, I can do this same application with these two completely different technologies, but
Yeah.
which one is the most beneficial for my needs? And you're absolutely right. The time to delivery, the cost factor, all of that comes into play. What doesn't come into play, which is what we pride ourselves on, is the ease of use. So whether
Right.
you're jumping between a solvent machine or a UV curable or even a 3D printer, which is an even different workflow, we've scaled our technology so that the software performs the same. The interfaces on the machine are very similar. It's intuitively easy to jump from one to the other within our portfolio. And we make it really easy to scale up as you grow your business. So if you were to start with a solvent, for example, you're just dedicating yourself to wraps, then you want to get into decorating the interior of the car, you can easily scale the product and not have to learn new software and a bunch of new different, techniques and tricks, right? Most of our equipment, the maintenance is very similar. There's a lot of very similarity driven pieces there. So it's really cool to be able to jump between all these different things fluidly without having to, reinvent the wheel or learn something completely new, which is
Right.
one of the things that Mimaki prides itself on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in your experience, because you do run the machines more often than I'd like to admit on my end, in your experience, you've talked with a lot of people, you've talked with a lot of customers, you've obviously been working with the application teams in all the different showrooms that we mentioned earlier, and you get a lot of requests for different things. We get a lot of new ideas all the time. So in your experience as an application specialist with the solvent, the JV, the CJV line, the UCJV on the UV, or the UJF or the JFX, or even our TS or TX line of products, what has been your experience as it pertains to this particular subject? Because I know that you guys have created a lot of different things. So what are some of the unique things that you've seen and some ideas that you have for the audience?
Well, I could list off applications that we've done with each machine when it comes to car design. Like working with the solvent inks, that's the standard, that's the gold standard of, I'm going to wrap a car. This is what most people think of the machine you would use, the CJV, the JV, just solvent inks, worked with laminate to wrap around a car, get your design, not even a full wrap of a car, just a section. You could work with just a logo on the side of your truck, and that could also range from that to wrapping your entire car in a cool pattern with a textured laminate. So that's a standard that I've worked on. UV machines, like the UCJV. I've also done car wrapping with that. We've seen a lot of benefits with our UV machines with the wrapping. We've tested out a lot of different products that work with the laminate that don't have the degradation of silvering, or still have the flexibility. That's a problem a lot of people have when they see UV inks with car wrappings. They think that those won't stand up. The inks we have specific inks that will be flexible and just have the same flexibility as your solvent inks. A lot of people are hesitant to get in that area, but we've seen a lot of good success with that. And the UJF, when you're printing directly to different surfaces, then you get into the interior of the car. That doesn't mean like wrapping an object. That is actually personalizing pieces of the car. You can take out the grip, the gear shift inside a car, take that out, print directly to that, your own design, your name, your logo. You can do that with any piece that you take out from the car, wheels, dashboards, custom steering wheels. You can release those. And even though there is a curved surface, the UJF has, there is a limit to how much of a curved surface. I'm sure water bottles, different applications, you can put those inside of it and wrap the entire thing with our UJF, not wrap, but print on the entire outside surface with our kebab. And then you get into different like small applications like keychains, gloves for leather gloves, driving gloves, driving vests, the cages that some racing cars have. Sometimes you want to add your own logo onto that. You could do that with some of our textile machines and the UJF, depending on how small the different pieces are. And the exterior of the machine, you could, most people think that it's just the wrapping of the outside of the car. You can wrap the rims of the car.
Yeah.
Flexibility that we can get on not just the solvent inks but the UV inks, you can still get that curvature. It bends enough for you to have a solid color. Add that to the entirety of your rims without get that stretching of like stretching the ink apart where you get that like white section in between the color. You don't get that with some of our inks. The LUS 200 inks. I'm blinking on the solvent inks that are the best for that, but the more flexible ones. But
a lot of choices.
Yeah, a lot of choices. So I could talk about those all day. And we also have the 3D line, and we're going to get into a full episode on our 3D machines. That is an entirely different beast, but
also ties into this though.
Yeah, exactly. You could print out your own parts. 3D object, 3D part, just like a hood ornament. You can do that as well, or a large scale 3D, the 3D GD.
The 3D GD, yeah.
With that, as long as you can wrap that design, that is not a colored 3D printer, but as long as you can wrap that afterwards, you can make parts for your car with that as well. So that's its own thing. Well, I'm rambling on to the next episode. Sorry.
Yeah, and we will definitely get into that in the 3D episode. So make sure you join us for that. That's a special edition about 3D printing in general. But you can also wrap those components as well. So the printed three-dimensional printed objects that we create can be wrapped with UCJV or JV prints. And you can create all kinds of different elements. So even if you're looking at like a showroom for a car dealership and you want to create something very unique for that dealership, you can do special elements and things like that that tie into the theme of wrapping and cars and everything else.
The same process that you'll be using to wrap your car or to wrap the different objects inside of your car, that is the same process as wrapping a wall. That is the same process as adding in floor graphics. You are still measuring out what you need to design the area that you need to design. You are planning out how you're going to apply things. You're factoring in the curvature of different surfaces, if that is like around a corner or there's a bend in the floor or like stairs. So you can take these application ideas that we're presenting to you for car graphics and take those to other markets.
Right.
As long as you have our machines, all of our machines are not just single-use things for one application. You can use those with other things. You buy one of our machines for a specific purpose, find out the other things that you can do with it to help your business.
Right. Yeah, that's the other 20%, right?
The
things that you want to explore. And that 20% could very easily become your 80% with the piece of equipment. So, and we've seen that time and again. I want to touch back on the UV inks briefly because I think that's one of the most unsung heroes in the wrapping game right now.
Yeah.
Most companies, like you mentioned, they look at the gold standard, which is solvent, and then there's some other customers that look at other technologies like latex, and those technologies have their benefit for sure in the market. But when it comes to UV, it's like the best of both, right? Because you get that instant cure, that instant lamination, instant delivery function. You get enough flexibility and enough outdoor durability to get as close to solvent as you want for all kinds of different things. But this one thing that comes up time and time again is actually a customer brought this to my attention, which was kind of cool. A lot of people look at the graphics when they're printed with UV, and UV sits on the surface of the material
Yes.
you're printing to, right? So when you laminate, you get a little bit of a drop down if there's an empty space.
That that is a problem that a lot of people bring up, and it's not really a problem because the people that bring that up haven't really or use that as an excuse not to test it out. What you're
Right,
seeing is the vinyl that you're printing on is one layer. The inks that you're printing with the UV inks are a separate layer that sit
right,
on top of it. Most people, when they have a white vinyl and they're printing car graphics on it, if there is any part of the graphic that is white, they don't bother printing on that, putting ink down. They would just leave that white, and that is a ink saver. But what you're seeing, and if you have like textured vinyl that you're working on, you want
hmm
that texture to shine through, or you want that color to shine through, and that is saving money for you. But that's where you get the degradation. You're seeing the ink meet a section that isn't ink, and because there is ink sitting on top of
right.
the vinyl is showing, but you're seeing like a dip.
So in this
Yeah.
case, the customer that I was speaking to actually used that to their advantage
Mhm.
because in a lot of car wrapping applications, like a racing stripe, for example, you want that to look a little bit higher than the clear coat of the car, right? So it wants to sit up a little bit so it's pronounced. And what they were doing is they were creating graphics and taking advantage of that texture, if you will, and using that to advantage. And with the layering technology that we have, which is really only available at that
Mhm.
level on the UV, they were able to take that and layer out the print and create a dimensional look, which now you can create texture graphics for vehicles, which you couldn't do before. So instead of just a flat, glossy, painted look, now you can create these dimensional looking, images on a
and
vehicle.
and what they've done is get that texturing effect on just certain sections
Right,
while protecting the entire car.
right. Yes, I thought that was a fantastic new approach, which I don't think anybody's really taken advantage of with the UV. So,
And there are ways around that. If you
yeah,
actually flooded the entire vinyl with ink, make sure that it's entirely coated, you won't see degradation. If you reduce the ink in the sections that you are putting ink down, that limits the amount of
right,
uh, bevel that you get. And the laminate that you're using also plays a factor in that. Is that heat sense laminate? We have found uh, the best way to laminate graphics printed with UV inks is using a heat assist laminator that we have.
right.
Uh, that heat assist will play into how much texturing you reveal in your finished product. It always comes down to testing and making sure you get the right
Right.
finished product. You are shooting yourself in the foot if you're just not willing to test these things out.
Yeah, call us and explore it for sure. And
Right?
we've made it real easy, right? Because we have a starter set of texture in our texture library, our Artista library.
Right?
If you're getting into upholstered goods on the textile side, which we haven't actually really even touched on yet,
Right?
then we've got an entire library of patterns and colors and different things. So, and it's all built into the software. It comes down to software settings. Really, we make it so easy that you just kind of spend your time in front of the computer and then just hit a button and the printer does the remainder of the work for you. So definitely the testing is a huge part of it. And we talked about that a bit in our UV episode where we were speaking about all the different products you can print to. But that relates to this as well because there's so many different accessories for cars and gadgets on skateboards and whatever. So definitely do your testing. But at the end of the day, we've got a solution that fits your needs, right?
Yeah.
So
And in this episode, we're going to try and jump between different segments with the car graphs. We're going to be touching on textiles. We're going to be touching on uh, car wrapping, and we're also going to be touching on applying wrapping to different surfaces that you wouldn't think of.
So let's touch on textiles for just a second because I
Right?
think that's an area that people don't typically think of when they think of vehicle decoration.
Right. There are textiles in pretty
Right,
much every car. You have leather seats, you have
right,
upholstery seats, you have uh, things that you wear specifically for driving gloves. You
right,
have not essentially helmets, but racing gear.
right. Seatbelt
Yeah,
covers, all
seatbelt
kinds of different
cover.
things. So people also, a car is typically an extension of your home in some ways, right? So you could design elements with the same technology for your home furnishing needs and also duplicate similar patterns or color schemes for your vehicle so that everything kind of blends together. And I think that's an area that we're starting to see a lot more, especially if you watch any of these high-end real estate shows or whatever online or on any of the popular networks. You see a lot of comparisons between when the person is in their expensive home and when they leave in their expensive vehicle. There's a lot of things that carry over. And
I don't watch those. It just makes me sad. I rent an apartment.
Fair enough. So I think we have a really good opportunity to showcase one of the textile
Yes.
applications you guys came up with.
Yes, the first video we're going to go to is one of our employees, Gabrielle. She went to Monster Customs to work on applying our textile printers application, where we worked with our textile printers to make a design for a car seat.
Cool. Yeah, let's check that out.
Hey guys, my name is Gabrielle and I'm one of the application specialists at Mimaki, and today I'm at Monster Customs to talk about one of the latest projects I worked on with Santi. How are you doing, Santi?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for asking. And today we're here to talk about our collaboration with automotive seats and digital printing.
My name's Orlando Smith. I work here at Monster Customs. I'm the upholstery specialist. I do all the custom upholstery work. Just creating cool things in cars and boats, motorcycles, anything with a seat on it or trim.
So tell me about your work experience and how long you've been working in the industry.
My work experience and how long I've been in the industry. I have been in this industry for 21 years now. I started out in mechanics, ran a mechanic shop for a little while. I got tired of getting dirty, and I had a cousin that was in upholstery. She was running an office for someone and thought I would be good at it. And turns out I was pretty good at it. So that's kind of how it started, and just learned things along the way and picked up a lot of different tricks. So it's been a fun ride. So, yeah.
What are the design trends today?
What are the design trends today? I think everyone wants to be different. So a lot of people want to have a one-off, customize things to where it's just personalized to them. That's the biggest trend that I see now. A lot of people, they just want to be different. Yeah.
And so what do consumers look for in custom automotive upholstery?
What do consumers look for in custom automotive upholstery? That's part of being different. They just want something that's one-off. They really do. They really want something that no one else has, and that they can show off, that's personalized to them, where it's, I guess that's their own creation. So,
what are the greatest challenges in serving this niche market?
What are the greatest challenges serving this niche market? It may be that people just want so many different things. It's hard to keep up with all the different trends and each item being personalized. So with everything being a one-off, it makes it a little bit more difficult because every time you're doing something, it's new. So it's like you're constantly doing the first thing all the time. This is the first one. Yeah.
Do you see digital printing driving growth in the automotive industry?
Do I see digital printing driving growth in the automotive industry? Yeah, I think so. Just because there's a trend now where people are starting to do pictures, and they're wanting to do that inside of vehicles, it's kind of difficult to do that with what we currently have out there in the market, materials-wise. But now with digital printing, you can kind of take any neutral base and turn it into whatever picture you want. Gives you a little more customization. Yeah.
What fabrics do you recommend to use for digital printing when reupholstering automotive seats?
What fabrics do I recommend for digital printing? Mainly vinyls, because of the stretch on the material. It's a little bit easier to work with. It's probably easier to print on, and it should hold up the longest. You get a lot more usage out of the vinyls. It's thinner, so I can put it in many different places, not just seats, but door panels, dashes, consoles, trim pieces, things like that.
All right, as a fabricator who reupholstered a automotive seat with a digital print for the first time, what was the workflow?
As a fabricator doing digital printing for the first time, the design was a little complex. So it takes a good bit of imagination to put the pieces back together for a seat that has multiple pieces, because you have to compensate for the distance that you need for stitching materials together, and also the shape of the seat, and trying not to get a lot of wrinkles in your design or broken patterns. So you have to use multiple pieces just to create one design. Me knowing how the automotive industry is moving in 5 years, I have a feeling that we're going to go to a lot of electric cars. We're going to move away from gas, fossil fuel cars. We have a lot of battery operated stuff going on right now. So I think we're going to move towards more a space age looking, I don't know, like I can't even say space age, but more a futuristic Tron kind of thing. So I think the designs will change with that future. So kind of trying to gauge what that's going to look like is a little bit difficult, because the design styles are changing so much day to day, and people are just coming up with new ideas all the time, just throwing ideas at people, and those ideas are growing on other ideas, and it's that compounding effect that you can't really calculate, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of where I see things going in about 5 years. A lot of it's unknown, and the other part that I can kind of gauge will be more futuristic designs, a lot more one-offs, a lot more custom, a lot more personalization, newer materials.
Thank you, Santi, for joining me on a live event.
Thank you for stopping by here at Monster Customs. We enjoyed having you here.
Thank you. Back to you, Mike.
Gabby, thanks so much. That was awesome. Really amazing what you guys are doing with the different textile applications. Speaking of applications, if you haven't checked out the tips and tricks videos and the resources page on our website, talented people like Gabby are creating new things every day and putting different ways for you to utilize your equipment up on the the social media. So like, subscribe, follow, go to our website, check that out. And if you have an opportunity, we do have a special segment that we run concurrent to this as part of the live series, where you can interface with the applications team specifically and talk about different things that they're doing with the equipment. And Lewis is part of that group. Right. So Lewis, I think you also have an application in wrapping that you wanted to show everybody today.
Yes, I had a interview earlier this week with Extreme Graphic Solutions here in Atlanta. Uh, they are a car wrapping business. They do focus on car wraps, but I brought some electric skateboards over to them to
Nice.
see what other surfaces they could work on, just to try and see what areas they were trying to branch out into. We got this one printed from a photographer we got in Atlanta, so I feel like that one turned out all right.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
beautiful.
So that goes into, don't think about decorating car graphics as just wrapping the outside of your car. It can
Right.
really be any surface, whether it's curved or whether it's a special material, chrome material that you're not familiar with. Really, anything that has wheels or moves, you can design it with our printers.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I guess you
Yeah.
did the interview. Do you want to show the audience here what you guys did to get that board up and
Oh,
running?
absolutely. Yeah. Let's go on over to that interview. All right, I'm here at Extreme Graphic Solutions in north of Atlanta. They're a printmaking company that focuses on car graphics. I'm here to talk to them a little bit about their company. I brought some electric skateboards in here. They're going to help me wrap them. You're with Mike and Alex. Could you tell me a little bit about your company?
So it started off as a dream. I was an apprentice at another shop. I wanted to do something for myself. I was like, how do I take it to the next level? And I just worked hard at it. I created a name. I was like, man, I want to do something that's off the wall, something that's kind of creative and brand new. And it came up with the name Extreme Graphic Solutions to help companies and basically anybody in the industry to do different, that sets them apart from everybody else and get their business names or themselves out and separated. And I've been lucky enough to partner up with my close friend Alex Savannah from NCA 10, and he has really helped me get to the next level. I guess without his help, I probably wouldn't have gotten this far.
Like I said, we're going to try and wrap some of these boards in the back with your help.
Let's do it. Let's get started. Boom.
Ed, we're trying to wrap one of these boards today. We printed some of the graphics on your JV 150, 130.
Yeah. So we have the Mimaki plotter, and we also have the Mimaki heated laminator. I really enjoy these products. It honestly facilitates everything that I do within my industry. I predominantly focus on doing graphics, doing car wraps, and basically fleet graphics and vehicles. That's basically what we do a lot of. And this helps expedite the process significantly because I can be printing on one here and a sheet that's already printed can be being kiss cutted while it's being made. So it's something that I honestly needed to get the business going. So
Tell me about some specialty materials that you've worked with, some really fun stuff that you guys been doing.
a lot of the stuff we've been doing over the years has been a mixture of just different types of installations. So a lot of the stuff that we do, most times we would do boat wraps and keys. So you would have to use different kind of designs, different kind of materials to make sure that it would adhere correctly to the boat because it's in saltwater conditions. Other times we'd have to wrap walls. We'd have to do high resolution pictures, both on floor applications, wall applications. Other times we've had to use products such as the plotter to cut our PPF, which is paint protection film, and the tints. So a lot of the cars that we'll deal with in the shop are very high-end cars. So paint protection film is something that ensures the protection of like rocks or any chipping to the original paint. And this machine just cuts through it like nobody's business. It's really, really great. It doesn't leave any jagged lines like other companies do. So sometimes we have to do half wraps where it's half perforated window film with a wrap. So a lot of those things is what we call specialty graphics in my industry, because we have to tie in both glass with metal and other substrates that it kind of complicates things, like bumpers, fiberglass on boats. Some stuff wraps easier than others. Others have compound curves. We recently just wrapped a Lambo, and the Lambo has very, very complex curves on the interior of where the intake goes. And we've had to rely on having a really good printer with using the materials at hand to make everything come together and make the project actually succeed.
Let's try and get into applying this design to this board. Like I said, this is a photograph that was taken in Atlanta, and we're going to apply that to the top of that, right?
Yes, sir. So basically what the printer does is it extrapolates all the information, and you can specify it to be a high resolution print. And then from there, all you have to do, since this is going to be under a clear grip tape, right?
Yes.
All we have to do is just basically line it up on the actual board, have enough there, and then you just basically peel it off gently, and it comes right off, very easy to use. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that corner.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just pull it straight back, and we're gonna do half first.
Cool.
That's right. We're gonna go ahead and pull it forward together, nice and tight. Just make sure the graphic goes there, my ways, and just lay it flat. Perfect. Does it go to the edge? Okay, so we're gonna have to readjust. And the beauty about having these products is that it's highly you can reposition it fairly easily. All you have to do is just lift it back up, and then with a simple squeegee, all you do is this. You go back over, and you just stay between the lines. Okay, there's that. And you just follow the curves.
And you're usually used to working with bigger wraps, right? Like you use primarily like car wraps, correct?
Yes, sir. We do a lot of color changes, and a lot of here in the city. One of the few shops that does custom camo prints. So we'll use the printer to its full potential. We'll go ahead and create a custom pattern of any camo that the customer may want. Like I said recently, we did that Lambo. We did a full 3-color camo that was ready to go, and the printer was actually able to handle it instead of actually doing cutout graphics in vinyl. We made one layer, and that was it. And a lot of people really like that concept because it saves you time and energy and resources when you just do one solid layer. You don't have to go back, and you don't have to do all the extra steps of cutting out the cut tape and stuff like that. So it helps with a business's bottom line with manpower and time.
We got this photo from a professional photographer, but when you're not able to get photos like that and you have to make the designs yourself, how much freedom do you have? Like, is there any instances where people just come to you and say, hey, free reign, I want my car looking cool, have at it?
Oh yeah, there's especially with both the industry that I'm in, we use both the printer and ready-made materials by certain companies. They have different textures. I've had customers tell me, hey, what is your vision on a certain project? And me and my business partner, we'll go in there, we'll analyze it, we'll look at the car, we'll like, man, how can we do this? So recently there was, for a car meet in this area, somebody wanted to do a really interesting concept on a car. They wanted to do something where it looked like a lava rock had cracked open, and it looked like it was scratching all over the car, and you could see the individual crystals along the whole car.
Nice.
Things like that you can manipulate both the colors and the actual texture. You can do 3D in the actual design. So on certain occasions, we have very free reign. It's more of like what the customer's vision is in their head and how we bring it out of them and into reality. Because in their mind, they see it one way, and you have to really rely between the customer's input and the high level of skill that comes from the designer to actually bring it to life. And when it does, then you have products like this, that you have something that you just don't get to see every day. Like there is nobody else in the city who has this.
Yeah.
So that person can feel the individuality of like, you know, I have something that I'm proud of. I rep it, or I rip it. Like this guy must shred this board. Having that individuality and the freedom to do so is nice, both as a business owner and the installer. It's nice to say, you know what, like I had my input in that.
Now, is there anything that you wish to work on? Any cool stuff that pie in the sky things that you really want to work on that you think is cool that you haven't gotten a chance to yet?
Yeah, the industry I would love to break into or do a concept is walk into a room like this that's enclosed and it feeling that you've walked into an aquarium. So I want to wrap like this room as an example, I want to wrap all 4 walls, but it's the same kind of perspective that when you walk in the room and you close the door, you're inside of the ocean on a reef. When I went to the showroom, you guys showed me this flatbed printer that I could basically bring just about anything and print on top of it. So imagine
That's the JFX, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine doing that and having the ceiling tile of the top of the room be like the surface of the water when I'm scuba diving. So pretty blessed to have had the printer and everything kind of fall into place, and it just kind of feels like a dream come true, because as time goes on, not only will I get more experience, I'll get more training, and technology will further advance. What I like about it is I'm a first generation here in the United States. My family came from overseas. I'm the first one to finish college, the first one to open their own business. So by this being my first business that I opened, it's kind of a pride, like a moment of pride, because these machines have brought into reality my dream to own my business and do things that I can go into work and say, you know what, I kind of enjoy my day, and I can go in there and enjoy what I do.
Anything Mimaki can do to be a part of this journey that you're started, we're in.
That was great.
Yeah, that was a good example of us working with different customers in the area and creating a partnership with them to collaborate on different projects. We helped them out working with the Lamborghini that they had shown off, trying to, some of our print specialists had consulted with them about the design elements of getting things ready for our printers. And during this project, they really helped me out with like figuring out the production line of getting a piece like this ready. Like you don't need, you would think that you need to laminate something like this, but actual skateboarders would say if you're putting something on the top of the deck, don't actually laminate it. All you need to do is put a clear grip tape over the design, and that will sustain itself. I, as a non-skateboarder, would not understand, would not figure that out without other people's help. So collaboration with our different Mimaki offices is a wonderful resource that we love to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, we're very passionate about it. It's what we do. We're really invested in it, and we love to connect with our customers and see what's going on. I want to bring up one thing, because I saw the Lamborghini and it reminded me there's also another area that we know is very highly utilized with our portfolio, but doesn't really get talked about a lot, and that's window tinting.
Yes, that Extreme Graphic Solutions, they also use their CG cutter for their car tints. It's car tints, yeah. It's just the plotter, but they use that to cut out the different sections that they need for their window tints. It is smooth. The blade is smooth enough that it will go through all of the different mediums that they're using without leaving like chips or rigid
pulls or runs or anything like that. Yeah. And tinting's, I mean, it needs to be nice and smooth so it lays down like glass.
And you need to measure it out just meticulously. You have to like make sure meticulously. You need to make sure that the area that you're going to be applying it to it doesn't need to be just right, but the border needs to be very precise. So getting that precision with our machines is very helpful.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so the CG cutter line is definitely one that is another one of those unsung heroes of the car world. So awesome, really, really great to see. So when you think about car wrapping in our industry, we have a guest coming up in just a bit that really spreads the education and has built a fantastic foundation of educational pieces and really teaches people how to be successful and the different tricks and tips that they need and the new and upcoming trends and all that. So we're going to bring on that guest in just a bit. But before we do that, when you think about vehicles and high-end vehicles, and you think about stylish vehicles, obviously you think about exotic cars like Lamborghinis and Ferraris. But for us, generally we think of California highways and riding around in the California weather, right? So
if only,
right? For those of us on the East Coast,
with the fires, not that much right now, but
true.
In better times.
Yeah, and we hope everybody's okay with those
Right.
for sure. We asked our team in the Los Angeles area to reach out to
Mhm.
one of our customers, and we've got a premier wrap shop, Impressive Wraps, that agreed to come on with Ernie, one of our application specialists out of our Los Angeles office,
All
and
right.
talk a bit about wrapping vehicles and what their experience has been with their CJV. So we're going to show you a quick video of that, and then when we come back, we are going to be speaking with Justin Pate from the Wrap Institute. So stick around. We've got a lot of great stuff in store for you, so don't go away.
Hi, I'm here with Justin at Impressive Wraps, one of SoCal's premier auto restyling companies. Justin, thanks for taking time out today. Can you tell us a little bit about your business here?
Yeah, so we, like you said, are a automotive restyling company. We mainly focus with wrap, clear bra, and detailing. However, we do sell wheels and aftermarket parts as well. Window tint, anything you need for your vehicle to help make it stand out, we got you.
Oh, cool. How long you guys been doing this?
So we've been in business for nearly 10 years. We will be hitting our 10th year next year, actually.
Well,
So
congratulations on
thank
that.
you.
I do have to ask, how did you start out with this business?
So the business originally started with 3 friends in a garage and a Miata. They had bought the Miata just to mess around with it, and it wasn't in the best of shape, and they wanted to give it a new look. So they went and bought a roll of satin black and tried to wrap it themselves.
How did it come out?
It came out okay.
Cool. So, with everything going on this year,
Mm-hmm.
has your business been affected at all?
We did think that things would slow down with everything going on. However, it's been the opposite. Uh, we've been extremely busy, especially these past few months, booking a month in advance, just because everyone's been coming in. Everyone's got a little bit extra money now too, so everyone wants to soup up their car, do everything. So yeah, we've been doing pretty well.
Wow, hopefully that trend continues. Do you see that in the industry continuing to grow like
Oh,
that?
yeah, of course. Wrap is, with new technology and the printers, the film itself, it's just growing at such a fast rate that I don't think wrap will ever go out. Cheaper than paint, you can do what you want, and at the end of the day, you can just peel it all off and you're good as
Restart again, huh?
Yeah, you can do it all over again.
Yeah, I noticed you guys are working that CJV 150 back there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your first printer? Is that how the business got started with that one?
Yeah, it actually got started with that one. That guy's been a tough little guy. We print, obviously the car graphics, and then we also do storefronts as well. So we do vinyl outside of malls, outside of buildings such as Bape, Louis Vuitton, and then we actually attend a lot of rallies, and we do all the decals and all the door cards and stuff like that for the rallies too.
Oh, so you're utilizing like the
Mm-hmm.
print and cut features.
Yep. We're using everything that machine can do.
It's almost gonna be time for another one.
Yeah.
Plug. That is super cool. Do you have any advice for someone just starting out, someone new trying to get into the business, where can
Yeah.
you elaborate on that?
Yeah, the main thing is quality. For us, that's our biggest thing, and that's why we chose your guys' printers, is because the quality that we get out of those printers, it's 100% every time, no issues. It works. It's the quality that our customers expect, and that's really the main thing. Because at the end of the day, these customers are going to talk to other people about how your business went and the quality of the work that was done on their cars, and you want to grow that name, you want people to know who you are, you want to have that quality behind you.
Well, I know we have some cars outside that we're gonna see later that you just completed, and there was an event you guys did. I think this past weekend.
Yeah, so actually we were on Gold Rush 2020 this past weekend. An amazing trip. Like I said, we did all the door cards, stickers, decals, all that stuff we did for all the cars. We worked that printer day and night for a week and a half, and it didn't quit on us. So it's been really good.
That'll be cool to see those outside right now. Is there any other builds that you guys have done that really you really want to talk about or anything like that?
Yeah, so there's actually been a ton of past builds that we've done that have gotten. We've had news articles, magazine articles. One of the more famous ones being the Chrome M4 that we had done. So we had a wide body M4 that we had wrapped in chrome. This was maybe 5-6 years ago, and we did a couple magazine articles on it and everything. It was super cool. After that, we had our Liberty Walk i8, which got a ton of attention as well. And then just recently, for this past SEMA, we built our wide-body AMG GT. So we built that one in-house, Maxon Design wide-body kit, air suspension, BBS wheels, everything.
I
So
think that one's sitting outside, isn't it?
yeah, that one's sitting right outside.
Can't wait to see that. Like, how many cars are in the Gold Rush Rally, more or less? And what kind of cars are out there?
So it's mostly high-end exotic cars, supercars, things like that. This year it was a little bit smaller due to recent events, but there were still 75 cars out there, and for the second half another 20. So
Oh, wow. And those were all printed with the Mimaki you have in the showroom?
yep, all printed.
Oh, wow. That is really super cool. I know we get to see, I think, 2 of the cars in a little while.
Mhm.
So, we're here in your shop, a busy shop. You may hear doors slamming, and things going on. But how can a customer find you if they want to do something to the car? Whether it's the rims, whether it's the wrap, paint correction, how can they find you?
So our main platform that we mainly focus on is Instagram. So you can see everything we do. We post every single day. It's 2-3 times a day. So we got all that. And then another thing would be our website, of course, which you can check out at impresswrap.com. And then we also have a YouTube channel where we do videos on full wrap, clear bra. We have vlog style videos, and we also have instructional videos. So make sure to check those out.
Will do. Well, thank you for talking to us. I think we're going to be heading outside. Do you mind showing us the car?
Yeah, of course. Let's go check them out.
All right, let's go.
Alright, so like I had said, this is our shop car. We built it last year for SEMA. It's got a Maxon Design wide body kit on it. It's actually the first one in the States, so we're super lucky to do that. Also, as you can see, got some nice 20-inch BBSs on there. And then the car is wrapped with Enos Tech. This is their lava orange color.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the cool thing about this vinyl is it's got like no orange peel, so it's got that paint like finish to it. And then as you can see, like I said, we went on a Gold Rush recently, and all the stickers and stuff, we used your guys' machines to cut those out. So those came out perfect.
Yeah, this looks amazing. And the detail in some of the small stickers you have here is pretty
Yeah.
good. Kind of cool having one machine that can print and also just do your stickers so you have, space and everything. That is really sharp.
And it's also sitting on air suspension, so it's fully aired out right now.
What kind of air suspension on it?
So it's DC tuning struts, and then the management is right there.
And so also the rally stripes you see on the doors and the hood, those are also cut vinyl?
Yeah, that's cut vinyl. So that's also another color from Enos Tech. It's actually midnight blue.
Wow, that is amazing.
Had a couple revisions. We've had it for a while, and we might let it go soon.
So if you're looking, you heard that. This car could be yours.
Okay. And then moving on to this one, this is a car that we actually did about a year ago. It's a fully printed wrap, as you guys can see. So from that yellow to black transition, really, really cool style.
You said this was done a year ago?
Yeah, it was done just about a year ago, and
Have you seen any color switch from the yellows or blacks in that year?
no, the yellow has been perfectly vibrant the whole time. It hasn't looked all washed out, and then the black is still a really, really nice, deep color.
And what media did you use in this car?
This one's Avery.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's like what is that, a satin or a luster laminate on top?
Yeah,
That is really sharp, and that was printed with the Mimaki.
correct.
That is a beautiful car. Beautiful wrap. As you can probably see in the camera, the yellow is just, it's almost like a fluorescent yellow with the black. The black is really deep, as you can see, compared to the wheels.
Yeah, this car looks good during the day. It's very, very vibrant, and then at night, when the light hits a certain way, you get those really cool yellow streaks and everything.
Beautiful job, as always. You see the attention to detail around the headlights, around the grills, around the emblem right there. Amazing job, you guys. Justin, appreciate your time today showing us these amazing builds. Your amazing shop here in sunny California. We really do appreciate your business at Mimaki here. Is there anything else you want to add today about your company, yourself?
Just check out our social media. We're always on there, always updating our fan base with what's going on in the shop, and yeah, if you guys want to see this car, particularly in person, we're always at car meets down here in SoCal, so watch out for those.
Cool. Can I borrow it?
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
Hey everyone, this is Justin Pate, and here is the story today. What we're gonna do is we're gonna transform a grandma grocery getter, and in about 6 hours, we're gonna make it into like an off-road, super cool, wicked car. We're gonna start at 10 o'clock, and by 4 o'clock, this whole car will be done. Let's get to it. I started rapping in 1996 in New York City, and I've been teaching full-time and making videos since then.
Back chasing dreams, here we go again.
When you see something get wrapped, it's almost hypnotizing. You wrap a fender in 20 minutes. You're wrapping a door in 20 minutes. The car is transforming in front of your eyes, so it really draws you in. Kids love it, adults love it, and that's something that's extremely gratifying.
Is your car changing in front of your eyes?
There's an art to it that, you know, takes a long time to master. I'm gonna lick my squeegee, which is, again, how much do I spit on a client's car? A lot.
Dreams crack then fade into memory. My pop said that.
In 2007, 2008, I came out with a DVD series, and it was the first one in the industry where it really taught someone how to rap from start to finish. Technology changed, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to take my DVD and do an online platform. Put out a new video every day, along with teaching hands-on workshops across the world. It's a full-time gig, but God, it's the most fun you can have.
Remember that language is power.
I will, I'll remember that.
All right, that is a wrap. The car is done. Super, super excited at how it turned out. This car was that old grandma grocery getter, and now, bam, we got that off-road bling bling. Wrapped everything green and then put this gloss gold metallic right on top, which ties in with the custom stripes that we put on. Instead of taking days and days to wrap this car, 6.5 hours, bam, transformation, the power of wrap.
Where do we come from? Who are we? And where are we going? Eternal questions never answered.
God said
We'd be in trouble if we ate that fruit. Nameless
soldier trying to get over.
No peace.
Show teeth, hold a grudge. Find another soul to judge. No peace, only blood.
Nameless soldier.
Exile, driven out. Sinner drifting on the cloud. Wild child in the crowd.
No peace.
No peace, only blood. Don't sleep, show me love.
Only blood.
And we're back. That was some impressive videos we saw from
Amazing.
Impressive raps. That was an unintentional pun, and it won't happen again. But we are back. We are going to get into our interview with the Rap Institute in a second. Just want to remind everyone that you can follow us online for all these videos. You can follow us on social media, join us on YouTube. You have all of our videos and resources at your disposal. All of the videos that you've seen previously, all the lives that we've posted, including this one, will be on our YouTube page if you want to re-look at different clips to get more information, to revisit information. And if you have any questions for our previous guests or for us or for the Rap Institute, Justin Pate, please put those in the chat. We have our employees scouring the chat for a Q&A section at the end. We will get to all of those as fast as we can. Now, Justin, are you with us?
Oh, I'm with you.
All right. We'd like to welcome you to the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right. You, well known in the industry, you probably know the Impressive Raps, right?
You know, I've known Michael and the crew at Impressive Raps since 2012 and admire what they do. Great guys.
Yeah, it was like we can't go anywhere in this industry without hearing your name and the Rap Institute come up when it comes to this. So we are so really glad to have you on. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
And for the very few people who might not be familiar with you guys, tell us a little bit about the Rap Institute and your position.
I'm the owner of the Rap Institute. We started in 2014, and we started off with 80 videos, and we're an online streaming service. And you can get a monthly or an annual subscription to watch our videos. And at this point now, we have over 2,000 videos, and we're neutral, so we don't beholden to sponsors. And we have techniques, tools, anything you can imagine that can be wrapped, we have a video on.
Amazing.
All right. I assume a big part of your job is training. A big part of your company is training, getting information out to new businesses. We're all about helping new businesses out here. In your experience, what is the best way to get started in rapping?
You know, I think today is the best time to get into rapping. I mean, I started off rapping in 1996, and there was no trainings. It was trial by fire, and every day felt like putting a square in a circle. And eventually you figured it out, but you just burned through material, and it was pretty frustrating. But now there's so many workshops from manufacturers, hands-on workshops from like AV Denson, 3M, Orifel, Arlon. So for me personally, if you're new to rapping, take a hands-on workshop. And then, I mean, I guess it's a plug for the Rap Institute, but I think we're the great resource for training at home, training on the job, and just constant new techniques and tips that you can get. So hands-on workshop, streaming.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned you've been in the industry for a long time. You know, you've probably trained so many different people even before you had this resource of online tools. So, in your experience and over the years, you mentioned you started off in the '90s and you were basically trial by fire. What's changed in the industry since you started from today? You know, what are you seeing the big changes there?
A lot. I mean, if you look at the index on the Rap Institute, where you start to get into the videos, you know, we have categories for commercial raps, color change, PPF, tint, production, design. So it's really spread out. But in 1996, when I started, commercial raps were the only game in town. And from then until around 2007, you know, it was just that. Then color change came on around 2008. PPF was percolating, tint was there. And then I would say in the last 5 years, all those avenues opened up. But at the end of the day, from me, my personal favorite is commercial. Is something about commercial that is just, it's exciting. Like you take designers who come up with a great idea, and then you have great printers. And then to take that material and transform a car or a floor or a wall is just amazing. So it's not just a plain simple color or PPF where it's just clear. It's taking your dreams and making a reality.
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier about the different ink technologies and machines, and we know that you're not tied to any one brand or one particular application technique. But in your experience, you've had an opportunity to work with some of the equipment that we've got and other brands. What are some of your suggestions for the inks and materials? You know, we have our perception of it, but what do you think on that end in the inks and materials world?
You know, I think if you want to be a great installer, you really have to know your material and know your inks. And you have to know them to the point where you just don't say, I'm just going to stick with eco solvent or UV or latex. Really get to know each one. And that gives you the freedom to make different choices. And some of those choices are based on long-term durability. Some are based on flexibility. And I think I liken that to, I love F1 racing and I follow Lewis Hamilton and he's awesome. And I've seen him mature over the years from just being a pure racer to someone who really understands the car and the engineering. And that's made him who he is today. And I think if you're a rapper today, take that same thing is even if you don't print or design, get to know it because that makes you a better installer.
Great advice. Great advice.
Right. We started off this episode talking about how car wrapping and wrapping in general is seen as limited to just cars. We're always looking for new things to wrap. I'm always looking for new application ideas. Could you tell us what other things can be wrapped? Give some examples to the audience just to branch out.
I mean, I would say today what can't be wrapped. I mean, I think back in the day, printers were super expensive, the material was limited, but now the printers are better, faster. The material can now be adhered to brick, wood, concrete, vehicles, windows. So anything you can imagine to be wrapped, do it. I mean, the Wrap Institute Center here in Munich is a perfect example. The garage doors are wrapped, walls, floors, the desks in the classroom, the windows are wrapped with frosted, bathrooms are wrapped, doors are wrapped. And that's just trying to show people what's possible, but that is what's possible today. It's super exciting industry to be in.
Yeah, it's amazing what you guys are doing with the technology and the expansiveness of the creativity that you guys have with applying graphics to different surfaces. So amazing to see. For those of you that are just joining us or have been with us, we're talking with Justin Pate from the Wrap Institute, special guest today. The topic today has been all about wrapping, vehicle graphics, decoration, everything else. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the Wrap Institute's resources as well on their website. Amazing stuff.
Right. And I love the dedication to like knowing the different materials that you work with. I always looking for new vinyls to work on, to apply to different surfaces, how those apply to different surfaces. Speaking of some vinyls, specifically floor graphics, in one of the earlier episodes that was on Sign and Graphics, we were talking about the uptick in floor graphic designs in light of the COVID epidemic. Do you see that trend going down, or that demand for floor graphics lessening as this once we get out of the pandemic?
I hope not. I've been teaching workshops for years, had videos on the Wrap Institute, and I keep on telling people wrap floors. And, some people listen to it, but I think with COVID, it's really opened up a lot of sign shops to seeing that floors are profitable. And I hope that they start to see that, incorporate that into sales. For the Wrap Institute at WrapsCon, at ISA, we always wrap our booth. And sometimes our booth is 30 by 50. Sometimes it's 60 by 80. And we always wrap the floor, whether it's color change, or one year we made it look like tiles for PPF. And then other times we've taken images of every video that we have on the library and put it on the floor. And for me, it's just such a great way for people to walk in and they just stand on the image and it just captures their imagination. And for me, I see people doing that with wedding floors. And if I was coming back to America and I had to start a company, it'd be called Wedding Floors, because I think it's just a great way to make money and it's a super easy install. So again, it's knowing your material, knowing your lamination, and having the right tools. And there's a great tool from Yellow Tools. It's a 64-inch wide squeegee with a handle. And if you get the right setup and the right material, I mean, you can wrap a wedding floor in an hour with 2 people. And that's like a 6,000 square foot floor. And if you're getting paid X amount per square foot, that's good.
Yeah, great return on the investment there.
Yeah, I feel like
Absolutely.
one of the things the pandemic emphasized is not just an increase of floor graphics, but making people notice floor graphics that were already there, and how often we've ignored stuff like that, just directional signage like where to go, and just different things that already exist, a market that has already existed. So having resources from you guys to really help branch out businesses into that area is very helpful.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the concept of wrapping something like a wedding floor is really unique because you can reuse that floor over and over again. So it's got a lot of an eco-friendly approach to it, because you're not destroying something like a laminated wood or anything like that, right? You're pulling vinyl off, and that itself has some waste involved with it, but the minimalized waste there versus a painted floor, which would have to be either sanded or discarded. that's an amazing application. So hands off, that's really awesome for you guys to start thinking in those different areas.
Absolutely.
So thinking of different areas, put you on the spot a little bit here. What are some of the trends that you see beyond that, right? So 3 years from now, 5 years from now, we're in an area where we're not social distancing as much or at all. We're not as worried about, getting 6 feet from our partner or our coworkers. What do you see the trends in the market, and where do you see it going in the future here?
I really see a big focus on interior. Customization of homes in terms of walls, floors, kitchen cabinets. I see that as a huge market. I've heard through the grapevine, IKEA is really interested in actually, you buy a kitchen and they'll print the material or actually print on the kitchen cabinets at IKEA. I think that's an interesting growth. And if IKEA is focused on that, that's a good sign. I think hotels, wrapping doors, there's a lot of interior film. That's a big segment, and it's also big volume, and it's easy installs. That's a great combination. And for me, it's also good for the environment. Like you mentioned, Wrap Institute, we started a program called Green Equals Green about 2 years ago. That's really showing wrap shops and installers how to make your process more environmentally friendly. But by doing that, it's profitable. But you can also bring that value proposition to your customers, and it's a big win-win for everyone.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you guys have obviously a lot of resources available in your website and through your programs to teach people. Are you going to have any workshops or anything coming up that people might be interested in?
Yeah, we actually are teaching workshops here at the center. We also have some online programs. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in getting a membership at the Wrap Institute, we have a special. It's 15% off, a 1-year membership. And the code is TWI Mimaki. Believe that. And it's all capital letters. And so if you put that in, it essentially makes a membership around $12 a month, which makes it like Wrapflix in a way. So we have that going on. But I think the big 2 things that I'd like to push is we started a digital badge program with ISA. And so basically you can go on there and take a course. And if you pass the test, you get a digital badge, which I highly recommend. But then we also have November 11th and 12th. It's what's called the Wrap Experience. And that's in conjunction with the ISA. And so basically it's a 6-hour, 2-day streaming event with great sessions, influencers, trainers, discounts. Super excited about that. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, awesome.
Perfect.
Well, amazing, good stuff. Well, we know that there are people probably waiting to ask some questions of you specifically.
Right. Be sure to put all of those questions in the chat. We are going to take a quick break in a minute, and then once we come back from that, we'll be here, and Justin Pate will still be here to answer all your questions in chat. So now's your chance to get those last few questions in that you can.
Yeah, and Justin, on your end, I know that you're not tied to any one manufacturer, but you are currently utilizing some of our equipment for some exploratory applications, and you have a UCJV in your shop. So we probably will have some questions about that in our chat window, because that's been one of the hot topics. At least on our end, we get a lot of questions about it as it pertains to wrap. So I guess I'll give you a heads up on that we might get some questions about the UCJV. And if you have any experience with it, we'd love to hear from you on that as well.
Sure. Absolutely.
Awesome. So we'll recap the discussion here in our chat window in just a moment. So stick with us, and we'll open it live for questions.
Cool.
Don't forget to check out our resource page at mimakiusa.com. Here you can find webinars, application guides, tips, tricks, techniques, and more with the applications team, and many more informational videos to help you get the most out of your Mimaki product. Want to see upcoming Mimaki events and webinars? Well, mimakiusa.com has you covered. Make your way over to the events page available on the About tab. Mimaki USA also offers a support page that includes driver and software updates, a color profile center, frequently asked questions, and more.
right, and we're back, and we're ready to answer all of your questions. We have Justin Pate with us from the Rap Institute. We have our employees scouring the chat. We have Lisa.
Lisa, are you with us?
We should. Hello?
I am. Thank you for letting me
Hey,
join you guys.
hey, our beautiful moderator from our previous episode. She is going to let us know what you guys want us to answer.
Hi, everyone. I am Lisa Humrick. I am the Public Relations and Social Media Manager here for Mimaki, and let's jump right into those questions. Early on, Justin, we had a question about a project that you did in Australia. They mentioned exotic graphics. What did you do for exotic graphics?
We actually did a super amazing event. Nick Caminiti, owner of Exotic Graphics, Joffrey Vonderjak from a great company in the Netherlands, Pro Raps. We put together a 20-minute video called Rap Life. And basically, we wrapped 2 cars. And for me to get there, Nick sent 2 helicopters to pick me up. And we flew there. And the helicopters were actually wrapped.
That.
Yeah. And it was amazing. And if you watch the video, which I highly recommend checking it out, it looks like we're having a lot of fun, and we are. It was super special, and it captured what we love about the rap industry, which is, the rap family doing amazing projects, pushing the envelope, and just having that, connection. Friends came over, we had barbecue, food, went to the beach, but at the same time, doing amazing high-end craftsmanship work. So I highly recommend checking that out. And it's on YouTube, so for sure check it out.
Yeah,
like that question was just to make us feel jealous.
Yeah.
Remind us, the graphic that you use, was it solvent printed or UV printed or?
Oh, Nick's stuff is always so complicated. Basically, he prints it on Avery Dennison Diamond Series.
Okay.
And then because that's color change film, he would then laminate it to create that extra gloss. So basically that was the base layer, but then he also added satin elements, and then also a lot of cutout printed shapes on top that had to fit in like a puzzle piece.
Oh,
and
Jeffrey is a mastermind with that.
And he templates everything. So it's hard to explain, but everything fit like a puzzle piece. It was amazing work.
Right. The question that was asked of us is whether our CJV 150 could actually print that same graphic. And Lewis and Mike, it sounds to me like a solvent printer was used for part of that. What do you think? You think our solvent printers could handle, the CJV could handle that?
Depends on the film, but yeah, I think so. There are some films that have a build that are more conducive to like UV printing, for example. So it's like Justin mentioned earlier, it's really going to come down to knowing your ink and your materials and how they interact with each other to come up with those unique combinations. But we can certainly print on just about any surface.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he did use the solvent printer because he really wanted the ink to bite into the color change film and have that really smooth paint-like finish. So really, once it's on, because he's printing on the glossy diamond, it looks just like paint. It's magic.
Yeah, and our end, we have our counterparts at Mimaki, Australia, that are constantly putting things up on social media, and a lot of them are rap focused. There's a lot of vehicle graphics, a lot of vehicles, UCJV or JV line, CJV. So we're seeing a lot of stuff there. So definitely check out that video from Justin. And if you happen to want to see a little bit more of what's going on in the Australian market, definitely check out the Mimaki Australia page and their social media feeds as well.
That's a great segue, guys, to discuss the differences in inks and how you should use it for wrap applications or other vehicle applications.
Yeah, so that's kind of something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. So I'll jump in here, Justin, and then kind of let you elaborate on it. We know that solvent is the gold standard. It's been around. It's the most mature ink. It's got the most materials that have been vetted, and really everybody just knows how to work with it. UV curable for us has been somewhat of a a long journey. We've had UV curable technology for quite a while. I think we're on our 14th or 15th generation product, LED Cure product right now. So we've really pioneered that in, but it hasn't been synonymous with vehicle graphics and wrapping specifically up until recently. And it really did come down to the ink technology having that stretchability. So we tend to tell customers to look at the shop need, and if they're going to do 100% vehicle graphics, start looking at that solvent first. But if they want to do some vehicle graphic elements and some other things, the UV curable is probably a better choice. So what's your take on that? What do you think about of that advice that we give the customers out there?
Well, I mean, in 2006, 2007, when I moved to Amsterdam, it was the first time that I got introduced to UV ink with vehicle wraps. And like you said, it was a little too early. It was cracking too much. And then, just recently we got the UCJV here at the Wrap Institutes. And we just did a live event at Yellow Tools where we wrapped Michael's car and we printed with the UV ink, lots of curves, lots of recessed areas, and it was great. And it was just really, it's a different stretch and it's a different approach. But once you dial it in, to be honest with you, I went just as far with the UV as I do with solvent. Just a different style of heating. You have to read the wrinkles a little different. It's almost like tomorrow we're doing a product video for an Ezotech, and it's the only color change film that's half calendar, half cast. And it's a strange mix, but when you heat it, the wrinkles do different things than if it was just cast or calendar. But once you learn to speak that language, you dial it in. And I would say that's the same thing with UV ink. Is I love the fact that, when Reiner's printing it, it automatically dry, and we just throw it in the Kala and we're good. So that's the thing I love about it, is just the turn and burn fact of UV. You can just go from printing to car wrapping in an hour. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like that always comes back to testing. It's figuring out the right material that works with your laminate, what heat assist, whether through us at Mimaki or through the Wrap Institute or doing it yourself, it always comes down to figuring out the right combination to work with for your specific business.
And I think that comes with knowledge too of your equipment. And, for the event at Yellow Tools, I said, Reiner, print it a few days ahead of time because I want to make sure that if the lamination silvers, it has time to wet out. And he's like, no, well, I figured it out. So now we can print, laminate, and not get any silvering with pretty much any lamination. So that's our secret.
Beautiful.
We might share it.
Yeah, and that I'll touch on that for just a second. So I guess I might end up throwing a question in here, but the silvering aspect of UV inks, whether it's Mimaki or any other brand on the market, that comes up quite a bit, and people are very hesitant to look at UV for wrapping applications because they have this preconceived notion that the silvering is a 100% all the time issue. And you obviously, in what I just heard, said that you've had very good experience there. So, again, coming down to those materials, but one of the things that came up in our earlier conversation was also taking advantage of the fact that the ink does sit on the surface of the material and creating textured looks and feels. Have you had any experience there with creating different style elements where the ink plays a role in making the graphic jump off the vehicle a little bit more in some areas than others?
Yeah, I mean, again, bringing up Michael's car, owner of Yellow Tools, when we got done wrapping it, I really liked it. It had almost that 3D feel, even though it was laminated with a matte lam. It just kind of had that, it felt closer, if that makes any sense. And sometimes there's a company in Brazil that makes a textured matte black film, and we call it like 3D matte black. And again, it has that added depth. And I feel like UV ink, at first glance, you think it's okay, but if you mix it with the right design, it actually enhances it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. We obviously work within the ecosystem that we develop, and sometimes we have the blinders on to what's going on in the application space. So it's great to hear someone else having the same viewpoint and similar experience with the UV side, because it's something that's near and dear to our heart, right? The UCJV is a fantastic product for us, and we love the scope of what you can do with it. So thanks for working with it and really putting it through its paces. We appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you for the printer.
Y'all ready for the next question?
Absolutely.
I think so.
So Justin, if you could give past Justin, new to the wrap industry Justin, any advice, what would that be?
Ah,
I stumped you?
Buy a Mimaki.
Buy a Mimaki. I don't know. I would say really, take workshops from several different manufacturers. Just don't stick with one, because it's really good to master different brands, different techniques, because everyone has a different approach. Again, always just absorb information. When I came up with the slogan "Never Stop Learning" for the Rap Institute, it was 2012, and someone had been rapping for 2 months, taught me something new, and I had been rapping for 14 years or 15 years at that point. So it was like, I could have been like, I know everything and kind of skipped over it, or I could have been open to it and absorb it. And I think, some of my favorite rappers in the industry, like Jim Miller, John Doover, they're always picking up new tips and tricks. And that's what makes them great. And I think that's something that I would highly recommend just incorporate in your daily routine, is always be open to information, whether it's coming from someone new, someone experienced, but also take time to watch new videos or take a couple days to take a workshop, even if you've been rapping for 15, 20 years, because it really makes a huge difference. And also squeegee once, or measure twice, squeegee once. Because for me, you get that flow, you start working too fast and you start skipping steps. And then sometimes people think if they rush, that's good, but I've never seen rushing pay off. It's better to go step by step and do it right than rush and do it wrong. Because almost every time you rush, it's not going to go good.
All great points.
Great advice. Yeah.
Yeah. And in a previous life, I worked for one of the major vinyl manufacturers. And one thing that I heard over and over there, the material that we manufactured was considered hard to work with because it had a very aggressive adhesive.
Sure.
And something that I heard used frequently was, it's like being a woodworker. You have to learn how to use each type of wood. Like using pine, it's very soft and it scratches easily, versus oak is, more firm, and there's different techniques. And in this industry, there are so many different materials, there's so many different inks, and the advice you gave to try it all and to try, use it for the proper application. That's invaluable. It will save you some steps along the way, that and education.
Yeah. And I think it's also thinking, I don't think there's a bad material on the market. Everything's just different. And once you kind of learn how it works and dial it in, you can make it work. I mean, I go to Brazil every year except for this year. And,
why is that?
I just didn't feel like going.
Right.
And, up until recently, the number one car wrapping film in Brazil was Oracal 651.
Really? A calendar film?
Calendar film. And that is a hard film to put on. But based on economics and what the customers were willing to pay for, that's all they could put on. But they made it work. And they actually very good installers in Brazil. So I think that taught me a lot in terms of it doesn't have to be cast premium. You should be open. And if you could put any material on a car, you're there.
Man, that takes patience and a lot of post-heating, I imagine.
And a lot of prayers. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like one of the problems smaller shops get into when they first start other businesses is they find something that works and then they will stick to it.
Yeah.
And they are not unwilling to try different things, but it's like testing is expensive. Buying a lot of different material is expensive. You don't want to, when you find something that works, you want to stick with it. But then someone will drive by in a car that looks like it's amazingly wrapped. It's this cool textured effect, or this cool chrome effect, and you're wondering, how did they do that? And it's the exact same process. They just used a different film that you've never heard of.
And that's why it's good to take a workshop from different manufacturers, because that actually, you get free material to practice with, and you're getting trained by the person who can dial you in. And, that's better than, wrapping a whole car and having it fail. But being open is really good.
Yeah, so shameless plug for our applications team over here. That's one of the reasons why we have such an incredible team of application specialists that work here, because we know that to your point, we're always trying to learn something new, never stop learning, as you quoted. So we're always trying to create new workshops and new things on our end. And you're right. I mean, from our perspective, it's going to be the way that Mimaki sees things, and it is a good idea to always get a different perspective. So that's a invaluable piece of advice that we can give customers, and make sure that if you have questions, reach out to the manufacturers like ourselves.
Right.
Join those workshops, join those free tools that we're putting out there. I mean, we're passionate about it. We love to do it, but we're doing it for our audience, for our customers. So, take advantage of the opportunity and come into our showrooms and run the equipment with us, and let's see what we can do to, that next thing for you.
Mike is right. We are great. Applications team is great.
And one thing maybe check out on the Wrap Institute is we make a lot of product videos for the manufacturers. So we make product videos for Gen Formulations and Ezotech, Tech Wrap, 3M.
Are they broken
Arlen,
into
Woeful.
different sections for the different companies?
They cover the whole gamut,
Nice.
whether from calendar film, color change, chrome, PPF. And so they're neutral and they're free. And that's a good way to really learn about different films as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we try to do is, from our end, is make the printing so easy that you really can focus in on the technique and the tools and the other areas, right? Because the loading the machine with the material and hitting the button on the software is a fairly easy process. I mean, there are some technical pieces there with color management and ink densities and things like that, but at the end of the day, we try to make it as easy as possible for you to do that part and not have to worry about that, so you can focus on the other areas, to your point earlier, taking your time, going through the steps properly so that you don't make any mistakes, because that's where your waste and your time's going to get lost, is when you're actually putting it on the vehicle. Typically, the printer is going to do exactly what you ask it to do.
That's also why we have the wide range of profiles on our website, free to download from every different manufacturer that you could think of.
Right.
It's a very helpful tool.
Yep.
All right, one more question about films. There's a question about printing on PPF film.
PPF.
Yeah, paint protection film. Would you
I don't think
recommend
I've
that?
I would if I've tried it, but I haven't.
But you haven't?
But I'm going to tomorrow.
Testing, right? Back to our original concept here.
I don't think I've ever heard of that. I mean, I've heard people printing on color change film.
Yeah, I mean, we do have some customers that use, protective films, laminates, and to create different elements because of the clear nature of the film. We do have, some customers that use that as a media of printing, but I don't know if we know what the outcome of that is, or what the longevity is of it. I would imagine it looks great if you do it right.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of, if you print on it, you have to laminate it, and PPF is already 8 mil thick.
Right.
And then you put a 1.5 or a 2 mil overlam on top. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like fun, but again, never stop learning.
Right.
And I'll learn tomorrow.
Anything's doable if you put your mind to it, right?
And that's the thing. I mean, some people come to the industry and don't know any better and try something, and all of a sudden they got something really cool. So why not? So, Reiner is our guru and mad scientist here. So he has a project for tomorrow, for sure.
I was going to say, next video, printing to PPF.
Exactly, with UV ink.
Tell him we're
there
sorry.
you go.
Perfect.
Tell him we're sorry for adding to his workload.
Oh no, it's fine. I mean, one thing that's changing, and maybe something to talk about for the future, is color PPF. I mean, that's coming on strong, and I think that's the future of color change reps, to be honest with you.
Well, if you guys need any tips or tricks on your end about setting the printer up or using the cutter function on that UCJV, you reach out to us and let us know. We'll show you what blades to use and what settings.
Okay.
I have one last question, unless anybody else put something in the chat window there. Last question is, hold on. I lost my screen. There we go. How long does it take for UV inks to dry?
Oh,
Instant.
UV instant, yeah.
Instant. There's on the UCJV or the JFX, whatever printer we have that uses UV inks, there is a lamp that is on the printhead going back and forth. The second the ink is put down, the lamp is instantly drying it. So
yeah, and I think I'll show my age a little bit, having grown up with UV printing. So the traditional UV printing devices out there used metal halide bulbs, which had a warm up and a cool down period and had to get up to intensity. And there was a time where when you hit that, the inks, free radical inks, would still have a cross linking that would occur, so the ink would still be a little bit soft, even if it was supposed to be a hard ink. If that lamp wasn't fully up to intensity when you started printing, or if there was anything covering or the shutter was wrong. But that has really gone away with LED technology, specifically in our portfolio. It's one of the things that made us switch to LED is because of the inconsistencies with that particular technology. There's a lot of variables there. But with LED and the inks that we create on our end, the chemistry that we've created that works with the wavelengths of the LED, I mean, LED lamps are instant on, instant off, and they hit that wavelength of UV light the second you turn them on, and a millisecond you turn them on. So with the UCJV, you just pull it right off the machine as soon as it's done.
Yeah, any of our UV printers, the second it's out of the printhead, it's already dried. If you stopped a print mid-print, whatever is down is already instantly dried. That is the only way that you can get the layering effects and the different detailed effects of embossing that you can get with like the clear ink.
Right, and we can do up to 5 layers with our equipment for that reason.
Yes, that wouldn't be the separation of those layers wouldn't be possible without instant drying of those layers, because some of those are being put down when you're getting to 5-layer printing. All of those are being put down one on top of the other
simultaneously.
Yeah, simultaneously as the printhead is going back and forth.
And I can attest, when we got the Mimaki here and Reiner was doing the first prints on it, I was like, how long does it take to dry? And he's like, no, it's dry. And I was like, really? He's touching it? I was like, this is pretty cool. It was good. I mean, it is amazing how quickly it dries.
It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. Like if you come from any other print shop where you're not using I'll tell you, if you come from a print shop like I did, where you didn't have one of these printers or you didn't work with UV inks, you have like a bit of skittishness, like leaving the printer alone and also taking something off the printer. It takes some getting used to.
Yeah. And by the way, it's dry. You can hand it to a customer the second it comes off the printer dry. It's not like you have to wait any time between getting it off the machine and finalizing it. So you can bring it to lamination, you can convert it down, cut it, apply it, do whatever you want to do with it right off the machine.
And that that is not affected by how much ink you're putting down, that it does not affect how much layering is being put down or the type of ink. I like the primer that we're using on the JFX and the UJF on our industrial products line. All those inks instantly drying as well, including the silvering that you get on the UJF as well.
Yeah, I mean, I will say from my opinion too,
Silver ink,
from an installer point of view, it's a different install process, but once you dial it in, the benefits of being able to go straight from printing, lamination to install is really interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
We actually have another question, guys.
Oh.
Okay. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. That's what we're here for.
Landmark Signs would like to know, are there specific color change films that can be printed on, or can about anything be printed on? And then he has solvent, or she has solvent in parentheses.
You know, I mean, I don't know if I don't know if any of the major manufacturers warrant printing on their color change film. So I would say you're taking a risk, and I would say maybe get a couple yard samples, test, because some might be more accepting of the inks than others. I know that with satin, it's really good at absorbing ink. Some of the gloss films might be a little splotchy. So again, just test and play around, but know that you're going to have to laminate on top just to ensure it doesn't scratch, just so that it gets that extra warranty. And so based on that, know that you're going to be wrapping with a much thicker film than just a standard color change film. Yep.
That is it, guys. That is the last question.
So I'll throw something out, Justin, that came up earlier, and we didn't really get into it in our discussion, which the interior of the vehicles. So we started the day here talking about all the different technologies that Mimaki has. So textile and apparel equipment, which can be used for upholstered seats or design out like seat covers, car covers. Dashboard clusters with our UV curable. Creating special objects with 3D. We didn't even touch on the laser and engraving products that we have access to through Gravitech and all that. From a professional standpoint, in what you have seen, obviously the outside of the vehicle is what everybody sees first, right? And that's where a lot of their education is. But have you seen a trend, or are you seeing a trend moving into the vehicle? And do you have any educational seminars or workshops that speak to that?
We do have videos on wrapping interior pieces in the car, for sure. And just to be clear, for people who aren't on the Wrap Institute, and again, you have that special coupon code to become a member, TWI Mimaki, is even though we have a lot of videos on the Wrap Institute that show you how to wrap, a lot of the undercurrent of the themes and what we're talking about is about how to make money, how to sell. And I think if you are smart and you have a great printer, you should sell the customer on the outside of the car. But again, start to look for those upsell opportunities because you already got the car there. And so if you can start adding those upsells, your profit's going to skyrocket because again, it's taking advantage of what you have in terms of the printer, and you're wrapping those little elements, but your markup is super high. And you just have to know what your printer can do, know how to wrap those elements. And so educate yourself. But wow, you can go from a profit like this to a profit like this in just a few hours with just changing up your material a little bit or changing your focus. Really exciting. And I think you have to take advantage of that. And a lot of the workshops that we're pushing and a lot of new videos this year are all about the upsell. And the companies who are making a lot of money right now, even in spite of the pandemic, are masters at upsell.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our customers, as we mentioned earlier, I mean, a lot of the high-end shops that are some of the most successful out there utilize multiple pieces of our equipment. They might have a JV or a UCJV for print and cut applications, and then they have like a little UJF for doing the aftermarket parts like valve stem covers or hubcap emblems or even a 3D printer, like you mentioned earlier, Louis, for creating custom hood ornaments
or the CG for the
CG for
tints, or
tints.
just for plotting.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler. So awesome.
And it's a phrase that I pushed for 1 year at RapsCon for the Rap Institute is the more you learn, the more you earn. So it's the more you know about the material, printing, how to install. That just is really your engine for being better with your customer, showing them the possibilities, but how to put those packages together and incorporate into something that is super fun to install, that is magical for them, and is great for your pocket. It's good.
Justin, I understand that you're participating in ISA's Pivot for Profit.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
I could, Lisa. Thank you for asking. So I've been working with ISA for the past 2 years. And this year we're going to have a 50 by 80 booth at their show in April. And that was for our Never Stop Learning contest. And we had Avery Dennison, 3M, Orful, and Arlon as sponsors, along with CWT Work Tools and other sponsors like XIX. And we had 108 participants, all the trainers from the major manufacturers. And they were going to be part of this contest, which is going to be super cool. And then around it was the Wrap Experience, which is a unique combination of exhibitors that shows you how to upsell from traditional signage into PPF, coatings, interior. So super exciting. So because of COVID, couldn't do it in person. So now we're doing it online. So that's November 11th and 12th. And again, it's 2 days, 6 hours each day. And it's going to be filled with discounts, exhibitors, great demos, influencers. You get to talk with the trainers. In essence, we're trying to bring the sign show, everything you love about it in terms of, connecting with people, getting discounts, free printers from Mimaki. I'm just joking. But also just, it's almost like a rapcation. So we're trying to bring that fun, live DJs. It's going to be super cool. So again, it's free to join. You get those discounts, and definitely check it out.
I'm definitely going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how are we doing, Lisa? We get any more questions there in the chat window?
No, we are done.
All right. Wow.
Perfect.
What a great show.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. Justin, thank you so much. We know that your time's valuable. We know the time change where you are is a considerable difference from where we are in the afternoon here in the U.S. So thank you so much for your time today and your evening. We can't thank you enough for the amount of effort that you're putting into educating the market and telling the market what the right solution is for what they're trying to do, or at least giving them enough information so they can make an informed decision. Really great stuff. If you haven't gone to the Rap Institute's website, definitely check it out. Take advantage of that promotional code. Really, really enjoy having you on. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you for having me. It's been a huge honor. And it's actually perfect timing because I was just getting texts from my daughter because she's going to bed. It's 9 p.m. So it's cool stuff.
Well, we're going to let you go and we're going to wrap up here. So Justin, thanks so much again.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Wow. A lot of stuff today, huh? So
we hope that everyone walked away learning a little bit more about the rap industry and what to do if you're trying to get into this industry and the different things that you're not just limited to, from interiors to textiles to really any application having to do with something with wheels.
So many, we can't get it all in one sentence.
Oh yeah. So thanks everyone for joining us.
Yes.
We'll try and see you on the next one. Mike, do you have
we've
anything
got
else to say?
We do have some additional webinars coming up. Check out our events page, our resources page on our website for past events, but any upcoming events, go to our events page on our website, mimakiusa.com. Got some great stuff coming up, some more stuff about wraps in the next week.
I know the next tips and tricks videos are on the 7th of October.
Yep, great stuff there. And we hope that you enjoyed the slightly updated format of today's show. We couldn't do it without you, our guests. We love hearing from our customers. We really love getting that feedback. We like to hear the ideas, and we like to see what you guys are doing with the equipment. So don't be shy. If you already have a piece of equipment, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you're doing. Reach out to us. Follow us on social, like us, send us a private chat, whatever it is. Send us an email. Show us what you're doing. Connect with us, and there might be opportunities for us to include you in a future episode of Mimaki Live. So thank you very much.
Yeah, if you have anything cool applications that you're working on, you take pictures of them, tag us. We'd like to see them.
Yeah, or if you need help with something, we're here for you. So with that being said, Louis, thank you as always for embarking upon this this journey of liveness with me. It's always fun to have the playful banter back and forth, and I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we're good. We'll see you guys on the next one.
All right.